Well, hi everyone, it's me, Daniel. No, this is not a YouTube intro, by the way. But, 3 minutes until the reveal. What do I expect from the reveal is a good question. Innocent and Sin are probably not gonna be there. And they probably won't come back now that we know roughly what's happening in PoE 2 and what might be happening. I'm guessing we'll be seeing Innocent in Act 4 or 5 in PoE 2, so they are probably not in the picture. Shaper and Zana, though, probably yes. The thing is, they were mentioning the originator, but is Shaper really the originator? That's what I'm not 100% sure about, because Shaper discovered the Atlas, but he isn't the originator of it, correct? So yeah, who knows if they're gonna tease that even? If they're gonna like hide the final boss, like they like doing that a lot. I think Uber Elder, for example, originally wasn't even shown. Like they were like, let people discover it. And I hope we'll have a similar experience once again in Secrets of the Atlas. What else do I expect? I don't know if they're gonna do a league, an expansion. Last time they did, by the way, if you forgot, Siege of the Atlas came with Arch Nemesis. If I'm 100% correct here, I think. So maybe we'll get another great league, who knows? Beside that, I don't know, like, there's like, every single expansion they have ever done since ever, they have always done more than I could have ever imagined. I can imagine a few things. I can imagine the Atlas tree with jewels that influence nodes, but maybe they're gonna go one step further. Same with bosses. I can imagine a Shaper and Elder fight again, but they always go above and beyond with things. And I can never really tell how much crazy shit they have like in the back pocket. And yeah, they always blow it out of the water. So with this, we are in it now, forever and ever and ever and ever. Gonna have it roughly like this. I have yeah, anyways. It's happening.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games, and today we're here to showcase a new expansion for PoE 1. It's certainly been too long since we had one of these. Now, we had some struggles as a studio for a little while there, but we've got our shit together and we're back in action now. Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June, and we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE 1 and 2. That means the next PoE 2 League will be in August, and the next PoE 1 League after that will be in October. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so you'll be able to claim your Skull of Undeath helmet skin by following the instructions below. This Skull of Undeath will track and show your total number of kills, deaths, and your KDR. Just because Path of Exile isn't a first-person shooter doesn't mean this isn't important. Proudly or shamefully, link it to your friends or in global chat to show it off. And with that, let's get to why you're here. Secrets of the Atlas.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who you are. Trust me. I should know. But now, I seek something more tangible. Someone I care for, trapped within the Atlas. Reliving memories, made real.
What have you done?
Made grotesque. made foul. These manifestations must be destroyed. Their threads must be eradicated. I must have answers. We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
The bomb drop! Holy shit! Well done, GGG. I completed King's March. Beautiful.
Come, child. Drink deep the waters of life.
Betrayal.
You're either a client or a target.
Target inside.
Ooh.
Just done.
Mercenaries are powerful. Since like... Okay.
Your sanity is not promised to you here.
What voice was that? Was
Hi,
that Sana?
I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas endgame update. Then, we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Trathus. After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game.
Nice.
Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League and a set of quality of life improvements. Then, we'll wrap up by discussing our Boss Kill Race event, showing you our new supporter packs, and ending with a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I your questions from Twitch chat.
Sweet.
In Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped within. Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage. These tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas.
Okay.
Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her. Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work? In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your atlas, a thread of memories. In order to now access each map on the thread, you simply need to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps. Memory of Panic will make all affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable items.
Okay.
Finally, obliterate them all.
I'm
The
starting
Memory
to
of
get
Panic
it.
will kick in, causing them to revive, and then wipe them out again, allowing you to get all the experience and enhanced drops twice. There are many combinations of these powers, so you'll have to carefully consider how they best work together.
It's a bit of like Sentinel,
That's
but
not
you
the
just
only extra layer of content juicing these
Atlas
maps
basis.
offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread, and these will
Sweet.
stack as you go.
So it has
the
a
deeper
little
you
bit of
delve into a
Sentinel.
memory, the more mods you will have.
I love it.
This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile. Let's take a look at some of the altar mods. You are always presented with two choices and must pick one. This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits,
Classic.
where this mod makes Kerak modifiers free to craft. Both of these apply to all subsequent maps in the thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different and terrifying. In this
Has a
map,
little bit of-
you will fight the pinnacle boss, Cirrus. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him, his enhanced abilities can prove to be a unique challenge.
Ooh.
If you manage to defeat Cirrus, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tears. With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses. In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man and manifests those emotions into a twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread.
We're definitely working with
Another memory
concepts
created
here.
is the incarnation of neglect and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, Exiles. Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new pinnacle bosses have new unique items befitting them. If you slay the incarnation of fear, you might be lucky enough to find the Starcaller unique abyssal axe. We're gonna show this one because it's straight up badass. The Starcaller axe is a weapon that can harness the
Holy-
power of the stars themselves
Bro,
to
this is like
deal immense
Terraria
damage.
like levels of
What makes it
carnation.
shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of enemies as you rain
Jesus.
down the elements upon them.
Holy.
Another item you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges, but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card
Huh.
appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff.
What?
If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill. Effectively,
Okay.
you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one. There are many,
Classic.
many cards to draw, each with varying degrees of power to grant. Okay,
The
but
feast.
let's get back to the Atlas. After defeating all 3 new pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding.
Okay.
With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount, up to 100. This does a few things. When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory strands, the better the item will be.
Very good.
On top
Sweet.
of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful.
Okay.
The new pinnacle bosses also drop new crafting currencies,
So it has
which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands, you can add some before crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This
What just
orb's
happened?
effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it
What?
consumes. The Orb
didn't
of
get that one.
Intention can be used on memory influence maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands. In the process
okay.
of adding these new
Good for
currency
crafters
items,
and
we
SSF.
realized something was missing. The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline. Now, with all 6 influence types having their own Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's almost as if we could now do some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them. In other news, there of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this new endgame content. Let's take a look at a few things we're adding. The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory influence maps to be lucky. This means
Good.
it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value. By
Sweet.
allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that lead to specific bosses, meaning
Good.
you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run.
Perfect.
This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new items. While we were showing all the juicy rewards from the new
I was looking
endgame
at the
system,
dialogue
you might have noticed that
the
a
boss
lot
man
of gold
said.
was dropping. Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion. It funded the development and operations of King's March, along with various new features such as the currency exchange, the black market, and the passive respec system with Faustus. Those features offered by Faustus will be here to stay, along with some of the other services King's March has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry, King's March has already been completed. There will be no more town building. Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league. It's time to talk about Mercenaries of Trathus. In this league, you will meet veterans who have travelled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus.
By the
They're
way,
ready to
that is
offer
on the
their sinister
bottom left of the
services,
world.
but not for free. You will encounter these
Which is
mercenaries
where
as you journey
we'll
through
probably
Rayclast,
go in Act
one
5
in each
in
area.
PoE2.
They have their own personalities and come
Probably.
with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ, and any support effects augmenting those skills.
Uh-huh.
You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items, or exile them. If
But
you
why?
choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast.
Forever?
Once you've decided, you can begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur. So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters,
God
as
damn.
they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items, those that would make sense for the skills they are using. There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux.
What?
These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed, which is worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10.
The fuck?
They also grant Arcane Surge when you use a movement skill. This allows for some speedy spellcasters.
What the hell?
Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathis. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these
I didn't even
glyphs,
think about that,
which
Shaggy.
convert all of your
Yeah, you
minions'
can just
fire damage to chaos
yoink a
damage.
mage blood.
Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose the duel, don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost at me. Well, not really.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch.
Sweet.
Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they can pick up that allocated
The
divine
dance.
waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Good.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an Eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused
Alright.
Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided.
Holy mother of
When I'm playing a
flag.
more aggressive character myself, though, I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility.
Sir, that
I've
build
just
is
run
too
into
strong.
a striker
It
who
lacks
can
the
spawn
string.
with Vigilant Strike. And if you're lucky, a very rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to apply to me as well. He
What?
will also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies off of me and operating as a tanky frontline while I blitz off damage from the back. Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista. If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them.
Holy
then defeat
lag.
them, and they'll drop the Trathan gem as promised.
Oh, okay.
You can only have one mercenary accompanying you at a time, but up to 3 total in your service. The other 2 will wait patiently in town.
Oh, that's neat.
Having varied options is useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight. Any of your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves, can have their equipment replaced with items of your choosing. They don't level up, so you will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame.
Makes sense.
If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back on their feet. Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades, if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated.
Good.
If your merc buddy consistently fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
Goodbye.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Earlier,
Yoink
I
to stop.
mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, their gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while.
9 encounters.
Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals, we shouldn't forget about the recent Kalguran ones too. As
I'll
we
have to
mentioned
get into
earlier,
it to
the
really
Settlers
know how
update
this
introduced gold-based
feels.
respeccing of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionized Watch.
Oh!
Black
Sweet.
market item gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same NPC. This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold. Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique.
Nice.
The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionized Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a
Sweet.
year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town, and now its services can be used to their full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building. As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins, which Kalguran workers can mine for you.
Okay.
The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops to Karui and Kalguran ports, and they'll return rewards in kind. By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they grant. The Kalguran ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a
They're
new
just
passive tree
explaining
mechanic that
the thing
replaces
again,
the
the mechanic
runesmithing service
for new players.
previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node.
Okay.
For example, Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your
Speed.
life to full if you reach low life. And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells. There are many other Runegrafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can
Okay.
use them on any mastery on your passive tree,
I was
which can
wondering
be
that.
particularly useful for off-class investment.
Okay.
Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator.
Pretty neat.
She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those unfamiliar, this method allows you to decide which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge together, and it has a success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when trying to create items with fewer mods to use as crafting projects. Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate
Okay.
decide, it will combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable.
Good. Good. You know, just the option giving both.
As
That's
Settlers
awesome.
is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support.
Oh my
For
god, I
example,
didn't even think of that.
If you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable.
Oh my lord.
Each ore has a similar node.
Holy shit.
Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops.
Excuse you, what?
We've also added a set of Kalguran Scarabs,
God.
so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted bars from ore you mark instead of ores. To
Yo,
sum
wait,
it all up,
that's
Kingsmarch is now a
amazing.
thriving town where you can
What?
employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores, craft items, and run maps for you. Send shipments of resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on
Nice.
from that, we've also made a substantial rework to another important mechanic, the
John.
trail. As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's
Yeah.
briefly explain what Betrayal is.
Let's briefly explain.
Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9
here we go.
and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention. As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions, form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time.
I think they upgraded the visuals actually of it.
Historically,
of the UI.
after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to
Nice.
start from the
New
beginning
effect.
of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The
What?
boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels.
Okay,
The Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate.
that's the way
You
to
can
do
now
it.
build your betrayal board to your liking, optimize it, do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time.
Sweet.
The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards.
Nice.
By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail. This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace.
Good that he mentions this.
The
That's
Mastermind
literally
still has a
every
chance to
content
drop
in
a
PoE.
Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In
What did they
addition,
do?
the Mastermind
What?
now drops the new All Flame Embers. All Flame Embers are
Oh.
map fragments that replace monster packs and in-game maps with different types of special monsters.
That's where they reuse it.
These
Okay.
packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you might use the All Flame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with Syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding.
Holy
It is our intention
mother
with
of
All
lag.
Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new
I love the
and
new
interesting
visual
ways.
of the Atlas. Love it.
Another good example of this
Clean.
is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters. Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too.
Okay.
Another is the All Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. All Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps. We're looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all flames, or maybe mix and match. It's up to you. The Mastermind's unique items have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now
That
from
was
a
a Shape
custom
Guardian
pool
map,
exclusive
right?
to those uniques.
Why?
Bitter Bind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre. Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind, all the safe house rewards have also been rebalanced.
Sweet.
We've done a pass on the
tainted currency.
crafting sprees at the end of many safe houses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's simple. There's a crafting bench with an item in it and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time ends.
Finally,
One of
90
the problems
seconds.
that the crafting sprees have is that they
I might
often require you to
actually
have
use it
specific
now.
items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand?
Thank
In
God.
order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's take a look at a few examples.
Yo, beat chat, let's go.
In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be waiting for you. Test your crafting skill or luck with this Reflecting Mist crafting spree, and see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise. And in this spree, you will find a pre-generated unique item, and a new kind of
How
orb
did
that
they
resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but
What?
uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many
What?
times as there are orbs.
Excuse me, what the fuck?
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the item.
What the
It
fuck?
can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted
The hell is
implicit
that Val orb?
outcomes.
Hello,
Of
can I get
course,
some lore?
if you push your
Enjoy
luck,
us in
you
chat?
can still ruin the item. There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item, but those items are generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique.
Lol, he misclicked
For most
it.
sprees, the rank of
He
the syndicate member
misclicked.
increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items,
Oh
and
my
the
God.
time allowed to craft your item.
Just
Aside from the crafting
automate it.
sprees, there are other new options too. If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines.
True. I like that
Betrayal
they're
is a
full
good
stacks.
source of veiled items. Veiled items have some
But I think that
important
was
quality of
already
life
the
improvements in this
case, right?
expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game,
Fuck
so
yeah.
you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them.
Thank
They are
God.
instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and in-game maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil items. You can
Yes.
just right-click them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil.
Hell yeah.
Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Shut up!
Now before we get into our quality of life additions, let's
Rip.
quickly talk about some character balance. We will be doing our regular character balance changes where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new options to the Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes, which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Frisia, and
Classic.
buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark. Combined with the new endgame crafting, improved betrayal crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathan gems from the mercenaries, and of course the mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character, it's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've also added a lot of the quality of life features
Bless Mark,
that we
by the
know
way.
you've all been asking for. A lot of these have already been posted, but let's take a look now in case you missed any. You can now pause the game at any time by pressing escape to open the menu, or
Yup.
by opening any full screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that in certain Pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that prevents you from pausing.
Got him.
We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes and monsters imprisoned in essences. Based on the currency in your inventory and the state of the strongbox, these buttons will appear.
I mean,
Valuable currency like
Let's be
divine
honest.
orbs have been excluded from this as it would often be
If
wasteful
you run
to use in
Strongbox,
this context.
you
the
ain't
same
crafting
applies
all
to
those.
essences with the remnant of corruption currency.
right?
Orbs of Horizon have been updated. They can now re-roll your Elder and Conqueror Guardian maps.
God,
Doing
this
so
would
will
make the
re-roll the base map
free-to-play
and the Guardian of that map.
playthrough so much easier. Maybe I
The
should
map
do a
device
second
now
one.
has a small additional inventory.
The plan is
This is
actually to do a second
particularly
one.
useful if
Not
you're
soon,
rolling
but-
many maps to run in sequence.
Maybe
or
it's gonna be
if you
this
want to
league.
use varying amounts of scarabs or other map fragments.
That's completely useless.
During
Mark my
breach
words.
encounters,
To
all
me
the
at least.
splinters will be automatically collected and dropped at the end of the breach. On gamepads,
That's
we have
amazing with
separated
breach.
the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are
It
able
has
to
taken
target them independently.
years for this
This
breach
removes
change.
a bunch of frustration
Years.
when you are trying to
Literally.
interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby. You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search.
That's
This
awesome.
is remembered until you log out and is remembered on a per NPC basis.
I love that
The
per
amount
NPC.
of characters you can type in the search
So
field
good.
has also been increased. When using
250
currency items,
characters make
after right-clicking
huge
them,
regex.
it will highlight all other items which that currency can be used on.
Same with PoE2. Such a small change,
There are
but
many
huge,
other quality of life
especially for new
improvements,
players.
so keep an eye on the patch notes after this livestream concludes.
For
Alongside
people
the
that
launch
want
of Secrets of the Atlas,
WASD, that was
we are
already
hosting a
mentioned with
competitive
CDD,
event where
sorry, no, with
players will race
Scissorin,
to be the first to
cannot
kill the
happen
new
without the
pinnacle
animation
bosses.
change. Will
The
take
event will
years.
take place in the hardcore, solo self-found Mercenaries of Trathus League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
Oh yeah, true.
Today,
new ones.
we're launching
League
two
ones.
new series of supporter packs. The Frisian Magistrate and Crypt Keeper packs. Each tier
Ooh.
contains the pack's full
Classic.
face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As
Because we
always,
had-
the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Because we had
The
Necropolis
Frisian
and
Magistrate
Frisia.
series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. Either your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you
kinda cool.
approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it.
That's cool.
When activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you.
No, that's neat.
Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies.
Nice.
You are the law while wearing the armor of
Holy.
the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate.
Jesus
The
Christ.
Spider Blossom pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies. The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Equip either the Tombstone variant,
That
which will
looks
leave tombstones in your
chonky.
honor when you meet your demise, or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become
Rip.
enveloped in rose thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers.
Okay. It's kind of neat.
Keep track of how well, or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration. It will keep
Nice.
track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Holy
With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies.
yoink.
The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
Okay. Oh, that was a nice transition.
Become the true master of the
That's a
undead by
nice-
wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set.
That
It
looks
comes
pretty.
with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood.
Okay.
Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed as you try to whack as many Devourer heads as possible in the shortest time. It also comes with a scoreboard, so you can try to set new records to show off to your friends or just visitors coming to trade.
Nice.
Equip yourself with the Ghostly Dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead with the Sacred Crypt Keeper back attachment.
Okay. Very ghostly.
The Sacred Archives map device resembles a magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open a map.
God fucking
This map
damn it,
device
does this
tracks
look
how
sick.
many of each core league you've completed in in-game maps.
Wow, okay.
These packs are now
But
available
sir,
for purchase on
I
both
like
PC
my
and
timer on the
console,
bottom right.
and will remain so during Path of Exile,
I cannot give
Mercenaries
it
of
up.
Trathus. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathis League, so now's your last chance to purchase them.
I mean, you had
Additionally,
10
the
months.
Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1.
Nice.
Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Secrets of the Atlas. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news.
And the stream died. Perfect timing. All right. So,
Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to dueling mercenaries, fighting new pinnacle bosses in the endgame, and exploring the new crafting systems and character builds next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get...
guys, I think it's falling apart. But yeah. Absolutely
Your questions
insane. It's probably a delay. Let me just reload. Yeah, absolutely insane so far. Insane. No! You absolute fool. Enjoy this. I hate this so much. Why? Why is this a thing? Why is there an ad? Twitch, please stop. Also, it's German. Ew. Anyways, I won't even buy a Switch 2, you know? Emulation. You didn't hear this from me. Who said who? Hello? Anyways, it's actually lagging. Dude, the ad can't even play right now. What the flying heck is happening? I think Twitch is actually being bombarded. How many viewers do we have, by the way?
Sure.
How do you guys feel going
130,000.
into this, and how do you feel like you've been able to deliver?
Rough.
I mean, honestly,
Okay, well, this is loading, which, by the way, anyways, watch the original, by the way, without me yapping in between. Seriously, so far, actually insane what they have shown. I can't, wait, hold on, let's briefly talk about this. Again, like I said, way more than I ever expected. I can't really yet tell how big of a change the end game is going to be. I hoped for a massive, a drastic change, because no, actually, it makes sense. Never mind. I forget what I'm saying. It makes sense because we had Siege of the Atlas, which was the major change. This is now kind of like the secondary thing. The thing I'm wondering is why it's called Secrets of the Atlas. This may be because there's a lot of lore, like a lot of lore that they on purpose didn't show. So, I really hope we can see more of that. Other than that, crafting related, I'm not a crafter. I literally cannot say anything about it. So I will leave it at that. People did mention a thing in chat about Last Epoch, which is, I guess, similar, because Last Epoch has a crafting system where at some point you cannot craft the thing anymore, which, by the way, I absolutely despise so much. I hate it so much. Thankfully, PoE isn't that. The new system on top of the basic crafting system with the memory strands on the item is that, which I think is fine, because that's like you still have the core crafting system, and now you have added on top of it, which is temporary and can be removed, or you can run out of chances or something, which I think is fine. That's totally fine. And also because it's like way more powerful, so you have to limit it, right? Otherwise you have maybe, for example, memory items or something that are forever memory, and they are now the new baseline to craft on. Everything else success. Now, everything else can be good, but can be further improved with memory strands. I think it's a good system. Otherwise, you know, everything else at the bottom just falls out and you only have like the top 5%, which is just memory items, which isn't the case, right? But if you wanted to craft a big item, you want to use memory strands on it. That doesn't mean the bone helmet they showed is still not a really good base to craft on, right? So that's good. A bunch of more changes I'm thinking with skill gems. I can't really see. I think they showed Warp. I have no idea. Maybe Window of Orb is coming back, which is awesome. I love me some kind of like auto running thing. Yeah, the league mechanics specifically, I can't really say what's going on. I really can't say what's going on. It's difficult to say how big it's going to be and how much of a major change it's going to be. I have a feeling that they are maybe... I don't think they're gonna be like new Rogue Exiles, but they kind of feel like Rogue Exiles 2.0, or maybe like a twist on Rogue Exiles. I'm just not quite sure what I even want from them. Because I like the loot on the ground, right? That's my thing. I like the loot on the ground. Give me loot on the ground. I don't like ritual because you have to like do the thing and then look into the freaking inventory, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I will never do. I will not like it, at least not right now. So the mercenaries, that is the league mechanic, right? That is just the base league mechanic. Of like, yeah, you have to look into the inventory and then check it out, all right, and or decide on stuff. Who knows? Will be interesting. I don't think I will like it anyways. Right now, I mean, I don't want to be negative, right? But the ritual part I don't like is looking through all the items that are good. I don't like this in ritual, so why would I want to do it with mercenaries? You know what I mean? I don't like it. Still, I think it's a great league mechanic for SSF players. Awesome, right? They can get like a uber juiced amulet potentially, and they didn't need to farm anything, right? They just do mercenaries, check the amulet every single time. Or here is TLDR, by the way, if you're looking for a specific upgrade, like a single slot item that you want to upgrade, open the mercenary, look at that one item you want, like the base type or whatever, and if it's not that, move the heck on. Do not waste your time. That's, I think, maybe the best case scenario if you don't like looking through 9 items, by the way, every single time with every single map, probably, who knows. I think it's best to just the basically would be like tiered items in PoE2. Maybe, who knows? That's a good point. But yeah, it's if I need a new amulet, right? I run through the game. I think it's gonna be way less time consuming potentially than some other league mechanics, because you just look at that mercenary, blast him, and then you either yoink the thing or, you know, hire him, and that's it, right? So it's gonna be good. But if I go through the story and I'm like, man, guys, my belt from 20 levels ago ain't doing it anymore, but here's a mercenary. Let's check what he has as a belt. I will do that and then probably move on. Right? Like, there is no real use case maybe killing them unless they have a bunch of chaos, right? They really need to uber juice those things, right? Maybe even they have essences. So I hope they have like a large quantity of currency, so it's at least worth killing them for the time they might take, because they seem pretty tough, right? And dangerous. So no, it will be, they said mercenaries will have better gear. Sure. But it's like, again, I'm not going to, like, it has to be so disgustingly good that it seems like, yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. If it's gonna be that good, but either way, you know, I don't want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater yet. I'll check it out, right? I'm always someone who jumps into the new league and actually plays the league mechanic from day one, act one onward. And yeah, it's probably gonna be real nice at the beginning, right? Because you can just probably get some really good items early on and just like cruise through the league mechanics. So I think that's gonna be fun. Or maybe they have like I don't know, like suddenly a stack of 3 essences, and you're like, yeah, just let me grab those, bro. But we'll see about that. Other than that, I think I can't really say how the end game now changes drastically with that, because I think it's added at the end, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not a crafter, so I can't say that. Skill balance, we don't know. The King's March is, yeah, I think because I'm not a fan of the whole ore mechanic. I will most likely, if possible, block King's March, and and then just only farm. Just use the farmers, right? Then just feed it with gold every once in a while. That's good. That's at least I think that's my strategy. Do I want to do this long term? Will this feel long term good? Who knows? We'll see about that. I think it's going to be fine for this league. And in 4 months, maybe they're already like overhauling King's March a little bit, right? To just really spice it up again. Because if it is core now, they have to touch it up once in a while. It is core. It's their decision to make it core. So there is. All right. I think the stream is back. And with this, let's jump again into the Q&A with more juicy info. Oh my god, I swear to flying heck. I love ads. All right. Also, I completely forgot to stay hydrated. Holy. Very bad.